Hi, in this month's meditation talk, I'd like to talk a little bit, discuss the progression of meditation and its value to us. So I have mentioned in one of my very early meditation talks that meditation is progressive, and we start off with sitting meditation, usually in a meditative position that is comfortable to us, and our hands are in particular mudras, hand positions, and from there meditation evolves. The other forms of meditation that begin to be introduced, and I've done that in our own meditation practice, is to begin meditating utilizing sound. So bringing in the use of mantras, bringing in the use of yantras, which are visual meditation tools. In other words, beginning to meditate with our eyes open. And from there is another meditative practice, which is the meditation in movement. So in other words, utilizing forms of meditative practice like Chinadi, Tai Chi, Qigong, etc., which are the use of energy in movement and are essentially a type of meditation where the mind is stilled and we are coming into that point of consciousness, into that single-minded state, but we are still utilizing physical movement in the process. It's interesting because a lot of people that actually practice different types of exercise often say that they get into the zone, which is that mindless state that we access in meditation. It's where literally everything feels like it is synchronized, we are perfectly centered, perfectly present, and yet the mind is still and quiet. So this progressive state of meditation, where we are eventually utilizing our physical senses, like sound, like sight, and movement in our meditative practice, means that meditation is progressive. But what is the value of that for us as people who want to engage in meditation? Well, it's really twofold. On the one hand, we find that we can hold our state of stillness even when there is noise or sound around us, and use sound as a focus of meditation or a focus of maintaining stillness. That's quite an interesting thing to do, for example, if you're trying to sleep and the neighbor is making an enormous amount of noise. The capacity to focus into the noise and to make it a part of your process of accessing stillness is quite interesting. And it's the same with visual. We can learn to hold our stillness even when there is a lot of physical visual activity around us, or when our eyes are literally observing and looking. That particular practice comes in very useful and is an opening of the steps in terms of training our consciousness to, for example, work interdimensionally, which is where we are with our eyes open, looking into, in our mind's eye, other dimensions and actually perceiving other reality and altering or empowering those realities even with our eyes closed. With our eyes open. So this is the process of sort of meditative engagement with our eyes open, and how our consciousness eventually is trained through that. When it comes to moving meditation, it's quite interesting because moving meditation makes it possible for us to, first of all, experience energy in a more sensory, heightened way. So in various forms of moving meditation, we are moving with very distinct conscious awareness of the energy emanating from our hands, and that energy as it moves across and over our body and through our aura. So it helps to increase our sensitivity to energy. But the other thing that it does is it helps us to train our consciousness into stillness as we are engaging physical movement. And eventually to also learn to use physical movement as the focus of our meditation. So in other words, we can be in motion and using that motion as a way to bring stillness into our awareness. And this is what I mentioned about athletes or people in physical situations of exercise where they get into the zone. It is essentially the stillness of consciousness that they are experiencing. So today's meditation is going to be an exploration of meditation through movement. And it is really more of an instruction that I will give to you to go and practice this and experience it for yourself. And it is a form of movement in nature that I'm going to give you to do on your own. So that will be an instruction separate to this talk and will form the meditative practice of this month's meditation training. So I hope that you listen to that and that you follow up on it and you actually give yourself that experience, because it is quite beautiful and the outcomes can be amazing. People who struggle to bring stillness to themselves in a seated position often find that stillness is available to them when the body is in motion. So thank you very much once again for listening. And I'll see you again next month.